Here on behalf of Boy Scout Troop 529, and we even go back to Troop 518 and Troop 18 when Mr. Fox became Scoutmaster. But I certainly want to welcome everyone and thank you all for coming, especially those Eagle Scouts that made the trip to come back today that are part of our troop and our history. I want to welcome Mr. Fox's family, his son Phil Jr. and wife Joyce and some of their children. Is that her daughter Jean and her husband Ivan? Is that her daughter Mary Pauline wasn't able to be here today, but she sent her best wishes. And again, appreciate you all coming. I'll turn it over.
We're all gathered here to dedicate the Phil Fox Senior Memorial Park. Almost 50 years ago, just short of 50, myself, Pat Hauser, Fritz Now, and Joe Connalton received our Eagle Scout rank, and we were the first of many Eagle Scouts that followed under Phil Fox. You know, this is the highest honor and award that you can receive in scouting, and it comes from normally 4 sources. First, I would say it comes from the drive of the young man himself to achieve this rank. The second and third I group together, and that's the efforts and support of the mothers and fathers. But there's really the 4th source, and to be honest with you, I think the most important source, and that's the Scoutmaster himself. I think without the push, dedication, and drive of the Scoutmaster, I think many of us would not have obtained the rank of Eagle Scout. And you know, when you become an Eagle Scout, the Scout himself gets a medal. The mother and the father, they get a pin to recognize that achievement. The Scoutmaster doesn't receive any type of award, and I believe that for each Eagle a Scoutmaster produces, there really ought to be some award given by the Boy Scouts for that. For this dedication, many of you, I don't know if you've read some of the emails from some of the former Scouts that sent emails to respond about Phil, and I think you could summarize all of them. Almost everyone is saying the same thing, and that's the example that Phil Fox set for all of us. His honesty, his work ethic, helpfulness, and caring are really, in other words, he was a living example of the Scout law and oath to all of us. Cameron, come up here and stand by me just a minute. I want Cameron, if you'll look at this particular project, and a lot of you probably will never know, but this memorial project, he conceived the idea, he drafted the plans for this park. He dealt with city and county officials and got them to work together. He raised every dollar for this project. Time donated, spent countless hours himself, and he had assistance of other Scouts in this project that we're dedicating here today. Now, some might say that Cameron's project is a little over the top. And I would say this to you, that's baloney. How could you build a memorial to Phil Fox that wouldn't be over the top? He was an over-the-top Scoutmaster. Thank you.
This was a very challenging Eagle Scout project. It took over a year to complete, but the results are so worth it.
I remember the first time I met Mr. Fox, I was a young boy. My dad and I were walking in front of the old Union National Bank building there on Knox Street, back even before it became part of Hobbs. And my dad introduced me to Mr. Fox, and I reached up and shook his hand, and Dad said, "Phil, here's going to be another Scout for you." Most of us in our lives have, probably you could count on one hand the people who have had the most influence in your lives. You know, some of us count our parents, maybe a pastor, a teacher, others. But I think every name, certainly on this monument and others, would list Phil Fox as having had the most influence in our lives. Like Judge Hopper, I think of Mr. Fox often. And when I'm making difficult decisions, sometimes I do the very thing, Judge. I think, I remember something Mr. Fox told me, or some guidance he'd given me, to say Mr. Fox was sort of the Norman Rockwell Scoutmaster. We all remember those Norman Rockwell scouting prints. And when I think about those, I think about Phil Fox. The names listed on this monument and countless other boys who didn't make it to Eagle but were involved in scouting, I think they're really the best legacy to a man like Mr. Fox.